風が大空に命の叫びを伝え、パワーアニマルの心を目覚めさせるとき、自然の力と人の思いが一つになり、地球を守る5人の戦士が生まれるのです。
命あるところ正義の雄たけびあり、百獣戦隊ガオレンジャー。
Based on the 25th installment of the Super Sentai television series, comes this game, Hyakujuu Sentai GaoRanger, for the PlayStation 1. This is the series that eventually came to be known as Power Rangers Wild Force in the West. And while I don't expect much from licensed games, Hyakujuu Sentai GaoRanger came out in 2001, almost a year after the launch of the PlayStation 2. And it's a very typical end of the generation, so we don't really have to put in as much effort kind of game, which is kind of a shame. It's generally kind of a shame that there's never been a Super Sentai game which has been really amazing. But let's take a look at the actual gameplay. Almost every stage have you starting out in a sort of brawler fashion where you beat up some bad guys, and then it teams you up with one of your companions so you can pull off one of your cool combination moves. And much like the television series, you'll eventually face off against the boss, and once he's defeated he'll obviously transform into a giant monster. And then it becomes time to combine your powers, transform into a giant robot and beat him down.
とする邪悪に再び巨大なる力を、鬼マーチクワ
ナンパさせてやる。
何？行くぞ！百獣召喚！
獣の剣と魂のコードが合わさって剣の音色が天空を越えて響くとき、その音色に応え大自然の精霊たちが怒りの道をかけ地上に降臨するのです。5人の戦士の心が一つになると宝珠が輝き、気高き猛獣に歌いかけます。
誕生！ガオキング！
The boss fights work a little bit like Punch-Out, where you dodge back and forth to avoid enemy attacks, and then close in to get some hits in. Occasionally you will also do some special attacks, but these are purely automatic. And once you land the final hit, the Rangers will automatically do their ultimate attack and defeat the enemy for good.
天地合明アニマルハート！
There's not really a lot to it, and the enemy doesn't really put up much of a challenge either. I suppose the problem with these sorts of games are that the actual battle is usually the climax of the episode, and there's a whole lot of drama and story stuff going on, which is the real reason why the audience keeps coming back and have their favorite Sentai series. But I suppose that is sort of the crux of the licensed game. It is supposed to be a sort of companion piece to the original work, if it's a series or if it's a book or if it's a movie. If Super Sentai games are ever going to excel beyond being just some mediocre action games, they probably need to make some sort of Super Sentai thing that is just a video game, with the story and with the fighting and with the action and everything combined into one experience. That way you sort of get the Mass Effect kind of thing, where it's both a role-playing game, but it's also really a third-person shooter. One positive thing about Hyakujuu Sentai GaoRanger is that they somehow managed to front-load their full-motion video cutscenes. You know, I played a lot of games and you kinda get accustomed to the 1 or 2 seconds of black screen before a cutscene happens, and that just doesn't happen here. You're right in the action, then some video happens, and then you're right back into the action again. It's a pretty simple thing, but it's sorta impressed me in a way. Unfortunately, that's probably one of the only positive things I can say about this game. I mean, if you're really a fan of the series, do check it out, but it's super basic and it's not challenging at all. I practically beat it in one sitting, and that was only about an hour or so definitely not worth full price. But hey, Super Sentai has existed since 1975 and it will probably exist for many years to come. So there's always hope that one of these days we'll get one of the most amazing Super Sentai games ever made.